This is Rosen Institute's Your Law Firm, where Lee Rosen and Ned Days cover management, marketing, finance, and new technologies for building the practice you deserve. Rosen Institute members received this episode early, as well as exclusive segments on optimizing your law firm structure for efficiency and effectiveness, an answer to a member question about keeping the firm on track after a client has a meltdown, as well as sessions from our pay-per-click advertising program. Get access to everything you're missing at roseninstitute.com/join. Here's Lee Rosen.
It's good to be with you today from Port Ellen on the Isle of Islay in Scotland. We took a 2.5-hour ferry to get here. We're staying in this very small town, Port Ellen, which is basically a bunch of houses surrounding the port area. We're on a road trip out and about in the Hebrides for about 3 weeks, and the island here, it's known for its whiskey, so we are obligated, pursuant to the rules of tourism, to take a walking tour of 3 distilleries. That's on the agenda for tomorrow, but so far we've been doing lots of wandering around the island and we're really enjoying it. It's a beautiful place to hang out.
It's time for your tech tip. Last year, my wife planned a lovely Thanksgiving getaway to New York City. Usually when we travel, she organizes all of the big stuff. The sights, the tours, the accommodation, and I am in charge of the food. Since we were in the Big Apple, I thought we would treat ourselves and make a few reservations at some swanky restaurants. Here at home, it's rare that we go out to dinner anywhere nice because I usually insist on places with crayons and placemats that I can color in. And to be fair, there are few establishments in Florida where the dress code doesn't allow for Crocs and t-shirts and baseball caps. So one night early in our trip, we sat down at a buzzing, trendy spot. We ordered some drinks, a few small plates, which I believe is code for same price but less food than a big plate, and talked about our day on the town. Right as our main course was being set down on the table, flames leapt up from behind the bar. Ooh, they must be preparing something fancy like flaming jalapeno poppers, I thought to myself. Then I saw 2 women who were also dining in the restaurant run screaming out the door. I chuckled to myself, thinking these must be some rubes who had never seen a Pop-Tart creme brulee before. I don't think I was alone. Nobody else seemed concerned until the distinct smell of gas started permeating the dining room, and then the fire alarm went off, and then a waiter came out and shouted that everybody needed to leave the building. Now, in hindsight, a 4-foot-tall pillar of flame is probably overkill for flambeing a tray of tater tots. And even if you were going to use that much firepower, you would probably do it in the kitchen, not the bar. Despite the fact that there was a gas leak that could have burned us all alive, shooting roaring fire toward the ceiling, the staff was remarkably calm, and even though 2 people understood something was wrong, the rest of us assumed that if nobody else was freaking out, we didn't need to either. How well you are able to manage change in general, but problems in particular when implementing new technology in your practice often boils down to your ability to maintain composure. If you are the one in charge, people are often looking to you like a child looks at his parent after a big fall. He is studying your reaction, waiting to see if this is an appropriate time to turn on the waterworks or just dust off and keep running. Disaster can take many forms. Sometimes what you were promised just flat out doesn't work. The sales pitch and demo were great, but very misleading. Keep in mind that even when things do work, they are never as straightforward and easy as you expect. Building in a buffer period or beta testing period is always a good idea. Set the expectation that things won't be perfect right out of the box, and have a process in place so your team has somewhere to go with their issues and problems. You want to avoid them freaking out, but you also want to avoid them bailing early and reverting to the old way of doing things. This is a tricky balance. You have to get buy-in to try the new system and get buy-in to stick with it and give you feedback as you work out the bugs, if that's a possibility. Sometimes you're out of options and you have to either change course or reverse course. It's awful, but it happens. Be as upfront as you possibly can be. Silence breeds panic. Share what happened, what is being done, and what comes next. You are often relying on somebody on the team to figure out a fix for you or get things back in shape. Make sure you aren't throwing that person under the bus. You also don't want to put your team in a position where they are scrambling to come up with excuses to give to clients and vendors when something isn't working. It turns out nobody can log into the client portal. You need to provide them with a script on how to deal with these questions. It's only natural for us to deflect blame when someone comes to us with a complaint. You don't want your team saying something like, "Oh, our boss wanted to try the software and it just totally sucks." Give them a spiel they can use, give them a workaround they can offer, anything that provides them with an official answer rather than putting them on the spot when a client asks them why something isn't working. Sometimes things work, but not the way we expected. We were told that yes, it absolutely integrates with Outlook, except now we find out it only syncs one way and it duplicated half of our contacts for some reason. Again, even if you are panicking on the inside, you need to be cool, calm, and collected for your team. Sometimes projects take far longer to implement than we expect. People get antsy. Maybe they were promised a new system would be ready. Maybe they are entering data in two places and it's becoming tiresome. Maybe they are doing something manually because you got rid of the old system and the new one isn't ready yet. Don't pretend that this isn't frustrating. If people feel like their complaints are being brushed off, they get very resentful. Set a clear interim process so nobody feels stuck in limbo. Until the CRM goes live, put all the new client contacts into the shared spreadsheet. Don't just let people improvise. That's where errors creep in. Keep everyone up to speed on the timeline, even if it changes. Radio silence is far worse than bad news. People can deal with delays and setbacks a lot better if they feel like they are in the loop and they know what's going to happen next. As the showrunner, you are going to have to accept that there will be times when you have a packed house on a Friday night and a gas line erupts into flames behind the bar. You are allowed to sweat a little bit, but remember that how you react is going to determine whether your team and your clients run for the door or keep doodling on their placemats. I'm Ned Days, and that's your tech tip.
And now for your moment of concise advice. If you punish people for telling the truth, you will not get less dysfunction in your organization. No, what you will get are better lies. It's called the chilling effect. The moment people realize that honesty will cost them, whether it costs them the promotion or the bonus or the relationship with you or others in the firm, they stop telling you what it is that you need to hear. They start telling you what it is that you want to hear. They're pretty quick to figure it out, telling you what you want to hear. Everything's fine. The project's on track. The clients are thrilled. That gets them what they want in many law firms. Meanwhile, the house is burning down. You think you're surrounded by smart, loyal people, but you're not. You're surrounded by survivors. It's natural. It's reasonable. It's what people learn to do. Survivors don't tell the truth. Survivors tell whatever story keeps them alive. That's the story they're going to tell. And when that environment is allowed to develop, well, this is how law firms rot. This is how teams implode. This is how firms die, smiling, nodding, clapping, right off the cliff. If you want the truth, you have to make it safe for people to tell the truth. You have to reward it, especially when it's ugly. You have to thank the person who says, this isn't working. You have to promote the person who says, we screwed up and here's how. You have to protect the person who says, we're heading for a wall. Otherwise, you're going to spend your days making decisions based on fairy tales. You're not getting the truth, not because they didn't see it, because they didn't feel safe enough to tell you. Leadership is not about being right. It's about creating an environment where reality can reach you. You can only lead if you have the truth. It's impossible to lead if you're not getting the truth. If you're only hearing good news, you are already in way more trouble than you think. That's your moment of concise advice. Wrapping up from Port Ellen, thanks for spending a few minutes with me and Ned today. We hope you have a great weekend and an even better week next week. Keep plugging away, moving forward, and getting things done. You're on the right track. You'll get there, I promise. We're all in this together, and together we build better practices through better marketing, better management, and better technology. Until next time, I'm Lee Rosen.
Thanks for listening to Your Law Firm. Subscribe to the Friday File at roseninstitute.com and join thousands of lawyers focused on working on, instead of in their practices. You'll find safe, successful, actionable approaches for transforming your firm. Sign up for free at roseninstitute.com.